So the cool thing today is a lot of our clients actually look to us for advice around if what they're passionate about and what they love is valuable. And we actually have some pretty good answers for them because of what we've been through. And the biggest question they ask us is, how do you know if our online course, if I'm going to make any money off of it? Like, how do I know if it's a viable course to make? And the number one thing that we always respond with is, what do your learners want? Who are your learners? Because the reality is, and this is how it was when we started our first business, is we went out to the world with, here's what we want our business to be. And it wasn't necessarily about, here's what the customers want, okay?
And tailoring our expertise to what they want.
Yeah, it was much more about, what do we want? What do they want? Oh, it doesn't match. Okay, I guess we got to pivot. But now it's about, okay, I want to teach this, but my learners want to learn this. So what I want to teach actually doesn't matter. What matters is, what do my learners want to learn? What results do my learners want to get? And then you work backwards of what you're going to teach. So you can actually do that in any industry.
Yep.
But you can't start with, here's what my knowledge is. You have to start with, what do my learners want?
What do my learners want? And within that, what are their biggest pain points?
Yeah.
What are their biggest challenges? Because when we made our first course, the pain points that we thought they had, which in our minds was
we didn't come up with pain points at first. We came up with the content first, and then came up with pain points to try and fit in with the content.
And those pain points were like 1 out of 10 pain points. They were paper cut 10 points. They weren't, I broke my arm and I need to go to the ER pain points. And that is something that is extremely important, is, what do your learners want? What are their pain points? And of those pain points, what are those pain points that are 10 out of 10, broke my arm, I need to go to the ER, because they are coming to you full force to get that pain solved? And then what content, how are you going to tailor your expertise to create content that adheres to those pain points?
Exactly. The crazy thing though is, the first online course that we ever built to sell for ourselves was not profitable.
Nope, it was not.
We were really passionate about the topic of personal connection and really helping people connect with each other, but we didn't go deep enough. The second time around, we chose a completely different topic, and it was actually a topic that we were even more experienced with, which is the A to Z course creation process. And we knew exactly what the pain points were because we created a course that failed. We watched all sorts of courses about how to build a course, and we learned from the best. And we were able to speak the same language as people that want to build a course because we had failed. We know the pain points. We knew how hard it is to spend all this time building a course about something that you're really passionate about and what you really love, and then no one taking it.
Yeah.
We knew how frustrating it was to spend all this money on getting the course in a learning management system, trying to figure out what the perfect technology was. We knew all this, and we knew the solution. Now, was that what we loved to do at the time? Not necessarily, but what we do love to do is we love to serve and help people and teach. That's like what my biggest passion has become with all this, is teaching. And what's so cool is we get to teach using my favorite method, which is video. So that's what we got to do, is build this course. And now we're helping dozens of people around the world, which is amazing.
And as we were looking at getting our course out there, not just around the country, but around the world, we said, what is the best way? And the best way is to give. And give what? High value, incredible education for free. And now we have a thriving YouTube channel that we have so much fun producing, but it's a lot of work. So when you hear people, whether if it's Gen Z or even an older audience that wants to create a YouTube channel, it's a lot of work. And not just creating content, but doing the research, finding the pain points, then doing the keyword research, then producing the content, and then having the editing team, and then optimizing, and this and that. There's just so much that goes into the channel that when we look at people and say, if you want to create a YouTube channel, that's great. Just know it's not as simple as I turn on my phone, hit record, and then hit post.
It's been a grind. It's been fun, and I absolutely love it. But we have a studio. We have all the equipment. We have the editing team. We have our digital marketing team. And even with all of that, we still spend every Thursday in our studio recording 5 to 10 videos, and I'm exhausted after.
I'm drained. I remember there was a time where when we were building the YouTube channel, we were doing 2 recording sessions a week, all day, and we were producing over 20 pieces of content a week. And when we scaled it down to 1 day of shooting a week, that was draining. And I'm just like, how do we do 2 weeks?
And if you've watched our YouTube videos at e-learning partners, you will see that we get a little crazy sometimes. That's because we're so freaking tired when recording these videos that we have to amp it up, man.
And here's the thing, team. One other thing that we want to say about YouTube and about doing what you love, because I think this is really important. And our mentor, Graham Cochran, talks about this specifically when you start a YouTube channel. You're going to have haters out there. You're going to have people that are going to say some nasty things, some mean things, that are going to do everything they can to put you down. Actually, Gary Vaynerchuk, I was at a conference last year at VCon, and he said that approach those people with grace because they're hurting so much that they find an outlet online to let out all the anger that's happening inside. Don't let that distract you. Don't let that discourage you. Let that only to encourage you to keep doing what you're doing, to keep producing more of what you're producing, whether if it's on YouTube or Instagram, whatever the case may be. Because when you're doing what you love, there are going to be people out there that are going to try to drag you down. Use that as fuel to keep moving forward.